When you join Starfleet, there are things to expect. New worlds, new life, new species, exploration. And I won't lie, there's conflict, wars, also more anomalies than you could deal with in any lifetime. There's time travel, alternate realities, mirror universes. But one thing Starfleet can't prepare you for is being responsible for the collapse of a universe. I'm here to see Director Kovich.
Your 2 o'clock is here. Sir, right this way. Please have a seat.
Get up! We're under attack! We need to go now!
That's the planetary evacuation alert.
No shit! We've already lost Vader's End! Starfleet is getting their asses kicked in orbit! Now move, damn it! We have to get to the shuttles! They're trying to get as many people away as they can! The Gemini are already everywhere!
Captain.
Initiate recording.
Have a seat. Can I get you anything?
Well, thank you. This office seems practical. Wasn't expecting actual microphones and notepads.
Simpler tools for simpler times. Please state your name and rank for the record.
Jacob Bartholomew Wolf, Captain.
Preston Joseph Sisko, Captain.
I brought you here to the year 3148, First Contact universe, to discuss the incident.
I'm sorry, the what universe?
Based on your logs, it appears you and your colleagues would create names for the universes you were in.
Yes, we found that was the best way to have a sense of where we kept ending up. Prime universe, mirror universe, Kelvin universe.
We were in multiple universes. Axanar, Avalon, Constar, Antilles, just to name a few.
We thought it was a useful classification, and we adopted it.
Why do you classify yours that way? You're not in the Prime universe?
First Contact universe is a timeline that resulted from the incursion of the Borg sphere in 2063. This threatened to disrupt humanity's first contact with the Vulcans.
Yes. I know of Captain Picard's logs on the events of that mission, but our Department of Temporal Affairs was not able to corroborate those events in my timeline, the Prime universe.
Time travel to the future is a lot easier than time travel into the past. Incursions into the past bring a higher risk of creating a universe with its own past moving backwards in its own future, moving forward in time.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yours, Efren Cochrane, achieved warp travel and decades later disappeared from Alpha Centauri. Mine spent his final years drunkenly ranting about the cyborgs and how they wanted to assimilate Earth.
Yes, the Borg. So you're saying Picard was in an alternate timeline and this created the First Contact universe?
Most of how we thought time travel worked was wrong.
Publicly, Cochrane's rantings were dismissed. Privately, it influenced design technology in the United Earth Space Agency and Starfleet. This diverged the technology that you were familiar with. In no small part, how he described the Enterprise E. That is why our NX-01 Enterprise, USS Discovery, and the USS Enterprise were so different technologically in their time than comparable to your timeline.
Our incursions influenced the flow of the timeline and technology. We found the same with Enterprise of the Kelvin timeline.
I digress. I brought you here to the year 3148 classification First Contact universe to discuss the incident.
The incident? That's what we're calling it?
What would you call it?
Well, nothing short of a disaster, I would think.
In our line of work, disaster is part of the job. It has been almost 80 years ago that we'd suffered the burn.
The burn?
Another story for another time. I'd like to discuss how you and your colleagues caused the destruction of a universe.
As Starfleet captains, we see a lot of things. But not like this. It began with General Valagant, a madman trying to consolidate power during the Temporal Cold War.
I was the first in the family to join Starfleet. Had a wife, Lieutenant Mariella Coogan. And a child named Lafayette. I admit, part of me wanted a safe route in Starfleet. I didn't want my wife to become a widow or my child grow up without a father. Captain Wolf tells me, and probably a violation of the Temporal Prime Directive, that I have a great-grandson, Benjamin Sisko, who was a hero in the Prime Universe Dominion War and became a prophet.
We found ourselves moving back and forth to different universes. Like you said, from my log, we sort of came up with a way to classify them so we could get a sense of where we were.
Time travel, right? It somehow feels like a cliche. We were taken by General Valagant from what seemed like a random point in time for each of us.
What was Valagant's involvement in all of this, and why?
Well, it's not like he was very forthcoming. He wanted Starfleet humanity to use time and space as a weapon against perceived threats.
Think of the universe as a subway tunnel with a beginning and an end. Now fill the tunnel with water. The water generally flows and moves in one direction in the tunnel. Why water and not a subway train on a track? The universe is linear, but time is not. The water can go in many different directions, but it is contained in this barrier or tunnel. We accept we live in 3 dimensions, but somehow think time is a linear, 2-dimensional object. We're fish in the water. Whether we are still or swimming, water, or time, flows in a general direction from the beginning of the tunnel to the end. The beginning and the end are already defined, but the length of every tunnel is different. You have multiple contained subway tunnels, which means water in one doesn't flow into water of another. Also, not every tunnel has the same starting and ending point. If you were to travel laterally from 2266 in one universe, it doesn't mean you arrived in 2266 of the other universe. You could arrive in their past or their future. To a degree, you can travel a long time and still be in the same tunnel or universe. But depending on the type and nature of an incursion, you can break out of the tunnel and into another one. Now, you either created a new universe with a beginning and end, or you're in one that was already there. Your first contact universe, for example. What the Borg sphere used to travel back in time was too severe for the Prime subway tunnel to hold. So it was deposited in another universe that created its own past and future. That's why, when Captain Picard returned to his time, no evidence or record of the incident or changes were discovered by the Department of Temporal Affairs. It was because the Enterprise followed the sphere into a newly created timeline or tunnel of water, then returned to their original one, but only because they were able to exactly replicate the means of incursion that got them there. If they didn't, and used another method like warping around Earth's sun, that would have taken them forward or backward in time, but in that same universe and not their original one. That is why when Captain Kirk traveled to the past to retrieve humpback whales and return to his time, he didn't break the tunnel. And Captain Spock had them use the same time travel method to go back and then return. And the incursion caused by that Romulan mining ship, the black hole created by Spock's red matter was too severe for the tunnel, and it put them in the past of another universe. Whether that universe was already there or was created with a past and future because of that incursion, It's neither here nor there. That subway tunnel and its stream of water was dubbed the Kelvin universe.
It would appear in at least one case he was able to use time and space as a weapon.
You think we wanted that? Do you think we wanted countless trillions of lives on our conscience? We played his games, we jumped through his hoops. General Valagant was the train conductor. We were just along for the ride.
So, there you have it. All of these subway tunnels with signs on them that tell you where you are or where you're going.